You are listening to Vocabulary Builder from Perfect English with Danny. Learn new words every day. Welcome to another episode from Perfect English with Danny. Today we will continue with our theme of the week, describing personality. We will have 4 new adjectives to learn today. The adjectives are generous, innocent, ambitious, and assertive. We have our friends Joe and Ben to help us out with the words and the translations into 5 languages. Let me remind you that you can find the translations for these 4 adjectives in 62 different languages in the description of the episode. And also don't forget that today is the end of the week, so you will have a link that will take you to a webpage with interactive and downloadable activities you can use to practice the 20 words of the week, retain them, and add them to your active vocabulary bank. Let's get to it. So, Joe, how well do you know today's words?
I'm familiar with all the words we have today.
That's great. So, let's start right away with our first word, generous. It is spelled G-E-N-E-R-O-U-S. Generous. I will leave it to you, Joe, to tell me what generous means.
All right. You see, this word is not only related to people who give money to other people. It is a lot more than that. It is true that a generous person gives more of something, especially money, that is usual or expected. But a generous person is also friendly, helpful, and willing to see the good qualities in someone or something. You know, generous people are givers. They give without expecting anything in return. It is the fact of giving that makes them happy.
So, generous people are not only those who give money to other people. Anything you give, especially when you give away something you might need, this could be your money, your time, your thoughts, etc. If you just do this to help other people, you are a generous person.
Yeah, that's right, Danny. Thank you. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Thank you.
So, we can safely say that generous is always considered a positive word, right?
That's right. But sometimes people confuse generous with a person who spends too much money. If you spend too much money, more than you can afford, you are not generous by any means. If you keep throwing fancy parties, invite so many people, and spend a fortune on fancy gifts you give to your friends and family, especially if you're not that rich, we cannot say you are generous.
I agree. This is not generous by any means. But what do we call a person who does that?
We call him or her extravagant, which is a negative word, of course.
So generous is a positive word, extravagant is a negative word, but they don't have the same meaning.
No, but I have just put them side by side because people sometimes call an extravagant person generous, which is wrong. Now let's move to Ben and find out about the translations of generous in French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Arabic.
So we have generous as our first word for today. In French, it is généreux or généreuse. In Spanish, it's generoso. In Italian, it's generoso. In Portuguese, it's generoso. And in Arabic, it is karim.
Thank you, Ben. Now, let's move to our second word for today, innocent. It is spelled I-N-N-O-C-E-N-T. Innocent.
You know what? I do understand what innocent means, but how does it relate to our theme for this week? I mean, innocent is like when a person is charged of a crime, but it turns out that this person did not do it, so he or she is innocent. It's the opposite of guilty. But this is not a character trait. How does it relate to describing personality?
That's a very good question because what you said about innocent is true. We use it in the context you mentioned, but we can use it as a character trait as well. An adjective we use to describe personality without having anything to do with crimes or the law.
Oh, really? So?
If someone is innocent, they have no experience or knowledge of the more complex or unpleasant aspects of life. Just like children, for example. We say children are innocent. We do not say that to mean that they did not commit a certain crime. We say that to mean that they are still looking at life without the complexity and corruption filters that we add when we become adults.
But I think people use that to describe a person as stupid or something.
Not really. I mean, some people might laugh at innocent people and think they are stupid, but that is again their own point of view, which I personally disagree with. But back to our word innocent, it does not have to do with being stupid. However, there is another word that is used in a negative way that has a close meaning to innocent.
What's that?
It's naive. If you describe someone as naive, you think they lack experience and so expect things to be easy or people to be honest or kind. And you hear it all the time when people say, don't be naive.
So innocent is a positive adjective to use, but naive is a negative one?
You see, it's not exactly negative, but we use it in a negative way. Sometimes I wish we humans were all naive and even stupid. We would love each other more and stop killing each other.
Ain't that the truth? But come on, don't get so dramatic now. Let's check the translations of this word with Ben.
That's right. Ben, what do you have for us?
Well, the word is innocent. In French, it's innocent. In Spanish, it's inocente. In Italian, it's innocente. In Portuguese, it's innocenti. And in Arabic, it is bari.
Thank you, Ben. Now let's move to our third word for today, and that is ambitious. Are you ambitious, Joe?
Well, not really. I don't care if I create the next big thing or if I save the world or if I become the most famous person at something. I just want to do what I love and enjoy my life. I cannot say I am ambitious, but I think you are.
That's right, I am ambitious. Someone who is ambitious has a strong desire to be successful, rich, or powerful. An ambitious person wants to achieve more than other people.
But sometimes this can go wrong.
That's right. If you become obsessed with getting more powerful or richer, for example, you might be willing to do immoral things to get there, and you justify every bad thing you do along the way because you think that is ambition, but it is not. Ambitious is a positive adjective, but we have pushy, for example, which is a word that shows our disapproval of a person. If you describe someone as pushy, you mean that they try in a forceful way to get things done as they would like.
So again, ambitious is the positive word and pushy is the negative counterpart, right?
Yeah, you can say that. So let's see how Ben is going to translate that for us.
The word is ambitious. Let me see. Well, it's pretty much the same in all European languages, but of course with different pronunciation. In French, it's ambitieux. In Spanish, it's ambicioso. In Italian, it's ambizioso. In Portuguese, it's ambicioso. And in Arabic, it is طموح.
Thank you, Ben. And now for our last word for this week, assertive. It is spelled A-S-S-E-R-T-I-V-E, assertive. Someone who is assertive states their needs and opinions clearly so that people take notice.
That is a sign of being self-confident, right?
Absolutely. Being assertive is a big sign of great self-confidence.
But sometimes it can go the wrong way. People can get carried away and start giving orders all around the office without being entitled to do so.
Yes, sometimes people can behave in a forceful way, or they start giving orders to people around them. Regardless of being entitled to give orders or not, it is always a bad thing. We call these people aggressive or bossy, not assertive. Assertive shows our approval of a person's character, but aggressive and bossy show our disapproval.
Yeah, I know a lot of bossy people at work. All of them are managers. Did you know that? I might be the only employee left in the company. All of them are managers bossing around and, well, maybe I better keep my mouth shut if I want to keep my job.
Or maybe you should become a manager yourself. This way, there will be no more poor employees in the company to take orders.
You think so?
I know so. Anyway, let's check the translations of assertive with Ben and call it a day.
So the last word for this week is assertive. In French, it's assuré. In Spanish, it's positivo. In Italian, it's assertivo. In Portuguese, it's assertivo. And in Arabic, it is jazim.
Thank you very much, Joe and Ben, for helping me out in this episode. The 4 words we learned today were generous, innocent, ambitious, and assertive. I hope you understand them better now and you can go ahead and use them in your own conversations the way they are supposed to be used. Don't forget to check the other translations of our 4 words. In the description of the episode, you will find a link that will take you to the podcast post on my website, which has all the translations into 62 languages and the transcript of this episode. And today is the end of the week, so we have our special interactive activities and downloadable PDF to practice all week long. Don't skip the activities. They are the only way that will help you remember the words you have learned, retain them, and add them to your active vocabulary bank. This is Danny, your host, saying thank you very much for listening to another episode from Perfect English with Danny. I will see you again in the next episode.